Victory, a fable. Sonder and Tylin were lifetime competitors, equal in physical stature, martial skill, and experience, even guildmates to hear some tell it. But where they differed was temperament and technique. Where Tylin was improvisational and adaptable, Sonder was regarded as a solid type, rigid but reliable. While Sonder charged forward and flattened invading forces with devastating attacks and masterful shield work, Tylin brutalized the flanks and stragglers with a viper's speed and ruthlessness. Both were viewed as indispensable on the battlefield. Indeed, the town enjoyed the spectacle of their rivalry, but knew one day it would go beyond the magnitude of adolescent horseplay. Much to the town's chagrin, that is precisely what happened on the night our tale begins. The two of them sat at a table in the local tavern, drinking deeply and caught up in a most heated debate. Whose clan was superior? Who had the mother or the lady friend with looser morals? Which man could piss farther? They were far from the best of friends, and were not at all shy about letting each other and everyone watching know. Before this spirited verbal exchange could escalate to a physical one, the barman stepped in and separated the pair. "On a duel!" cried the patrons. And so it was. The next day was spent in anticipation as the two of them prepared. At sunset, the people gathered at the crossroads outside of town to watch and waited. True to form, Tylin appeared, tossing aside his subtler tactics in favor of the more traditional posturing typical for such events. Back straight, shoulders squared, weapon held in a ready guard position. "Show us the steel of your convictions," he loudly demanded of his apparently absent foe. When this failed to bring him out, Tylin grew impatient. "What is this?" he taunted. "You speak strong and loud in the tavern, but dart like a frightened rabbit before a thunderstorm when it comes time to make good those words to which you are so quick." Having always been noted for his force of personality, even more than his battlefield tactics, Tylin looked to the gathered audience. "A waste of time," he told them apologetically and gloatingly. "I'm sorry for dragging you all away from your evenings. I am disappointed, but unsurprised. I do not know what could have possessed me to think that Sonder would have the gonads to show himself." The portion of the audience that had come to support Tylin chuckled at this, then collectively groaned in sympathetic pain and surprise as the previously hidden Sonder made his move. He sliced the tendon at Tylin's heel and grounded him with a vicious kick to the back of the knee. A twist and flick of Sonder's sword sent Tylin's flying. The duel was practically over before it had begun. The crowd watched as Sonder placed his boot to the chest of his fallen adversary. "Thieves' tactics! Cowardice! Dishonorable!" Tylin managed to groan out through his pain. Sonder dispassionately shook his head. "Call it what you like," he told his beaten foe just before his sword delivered the killing strike. "I call it victory. The Holy Scripture state, any action that fulfills the will of the Lord and glorifies his name is justified in the eyes of the faith. The will of the Lord is paramount. The disapproval of those who do not understand this is of secondary concern, if indeed it is to be noted at all. You see, in the Lord's service, we choose and chart our courses to best benefit him, to see his will and word spread across the lands. With that as the goal, it is necessary, and indeed rather easy, to disregard such trifles as the protests against our methods and our message. These cries are insignificant. These cries are the cries of Tylin, beaten and broken at the feet of his vanquisher. Does the lioness stop for the lamentations of the impala? Did Sander toss down his sword and apologize for his triumph? No, nor shall we. Forward, onward, and upward we move, carrying his divinity every step of the way.